Hey y'all, hey. Notifications just went out. I just saw it pop up on my screen. So people should be strolling up in here. Girl,
Yeah, we
you
usually
got us
get a
like a
really good
fan.
crowd.
What you say? I'm sorry.
So we usually get a really good crowd on Wednesday nights, so they're definitely coming in almost 20 so far now.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Welcome you guys to the midweek chat with Bree and T and Soap Corner Talk. And you know what we do on Wednesdays? We talk about what happened these last few days. And I'm telling you, we got a few good things to talk about this hour. And yeah, it's going to be interesting, right, Bree?
Yeah, there's so much to say on both shows. I'm disappointed in some people, but yeah.
So, oh, so Delmonica, be safe out there. She says storming in South Carolina. I think that's where she's at.
Oh no, be careful, guys. There's been a lot of weird weather. You had weird weather too.
I know. I don't know if anybody here is in the Midwest, like Indiana, Illinois. We had multiple tornadoes on Monday night, and it was insane. And I live in a high-rise building, so everybody was down in the bomb shelter, and we were all bunkered down. And I'm telling you, there are no windows down where we were, but the backdraft from the wind of the tornadoes was so fierce that we could feel the wind come through like a strong breeze, even though there was no windows. So that's how much the air pressure was during that whole situation. It was crazy.
I'm glad you guys were safe. I saw the stuff on the news. I'm glad that Trish is doing okay where she's at in Houston. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
lot of weird weather. It's that time of year.
I know, it's crazy. It is crazy. And the crazy thing is, and then we'll move on to the soaps, is that right before the storm, because we start hearing and getting warnings and stuff. Right before the storm, I should say. I went out on my balcony to bring in my chairs because I didn't want anything just flying all over. It was so quiet. So when they make that whole phrase, the quiet before the storm, that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly how it was. There was no breeze. It was just quiet, and then bam, it was crazy. I mean, and it was really really humid. So I mean, here we get a lot of humidity up this way, and I don't know. You guys might get it down in Florida too, right? Because you by the water.
It's that time of year. We're in hurricane season all the way to November 30th. So usually the weird stuff happens between August and September. That's when it's supposed to get the worst. So far it's just been storming like crazy. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed that
Yeah,
everything goes smooth this year.
I'm telling you, because we had a string of thunderstorms like Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday, and I'm like, oh, here we go again. I'm watching Love Island, and boom, I'm like, what the? Yeah, so enough of that. Everybody's doing well. We still got a lot of people with, had damage to the houses and some power lines and stuff like that. I think everybody has their power on by now. But yeah, it's been crazy the last few days. Okay, where else has been crazy? We're gonna start with the Young and the Restless. Oops, wrong one. Young and the Restless. And all right, so Bree, we kind of talked about this first piece that I'm gonna bring up in this whole situation with Faith and Summer. That's Faith and Summer. Faith
Mm-hmm.
and Lucy. You
I
know,
mean,
go ahead.
now that whole scenario, and I watched it back twice just to make sure I'm not going crazy here. But I looked at it a little bit differently than you guys did, or if we agree to disagree. Um, I do feel that she is growing. I don't want to say like a girl crush, but she's definitely highly, highly interested in what's going on with Faith. And to be honest, at least from where I used to grow up, a lot of girls would like to look into someone who's older, especially if they're in college and they're dating and they had that college experience. Because she asked about, so you go to parties, you drink. I think Lucy is looking to Faith like, oh, it's an older girl. I can learn from her. I can hang out with her, party with her. And I do feel like there's a level of, I don't want to say obsessiveness because it's too early to tell. I feel there's a lot of girls who look up to someone who's a little bit older than they are and try to pick up certain things. But like I said, some people have different experiences. But where I grew up at, that was a common thing that happened.
Gotcha. I don't know. Their interaction on this particular scenario with with the script, it's just weird to me. I mean,
Yeah.
I understand, that sometimes that might, like you say, it could happen. I mean, I know we kind of talked about my experience, and my sisters and my daughter is different. But in the context of what we're seeing, Faith don't look like she's that interested. Now, granted, Lucy could want to reach out to her, but I mean, she said, can we hang out? Sure, we can hang out. And then you go buy jewelry for her. And then when you run into her at the coffee house, you like, ooh, I can hang out with you all summer. And she was like, well, how about, and she said, what about today or whatever? And she's like, oh, I'm busy tonight. I'm going to a party. Ooh, can I go too? It's like, her friends don't, it's just weird to me. The whole context of how they wrote this, it just looks weird to me.
Yeah. It's kind of like a little sister wanting to hang out with her big sister.
But they're not that close though, Brie. I could see if these, they've been, around each other's families. There's been a lot more interaction between these two. We had them one time when they were at society. And then the next thing you know, she's buying jewelry and want to spend the summer with her and want to go to places she's not invited. It's not like there was a consistent time period of where they maybe ran into each other. They actually did something together. They haven't even hung out fully yet.
Except for at Crimson Lights after they met up at Society. I think that, like I said, she's behaving 14. 14 girls are going to grow obsessed with something they really, really are interested in. For whatever reason, it's Faith. And there's a reason. I feel like they're bringing this all up. Cassie's storyline, Sharon, meds are not, working the way it should be. And they also incorporated Daniel. I think they're going to reenact this whole Cassie storyline, but I think it's going to be Daniel's child who I feel that something's going to happen to Lucy.
So in the comments section, we got folks talking about it. Okay. Kindon, not Josh. That's a new name. Welcome to the channel if you're new here.
Hi.
Lucy is very weird. I don't think Faith like Lucy. Lucy is very lonely and need other friends besides Faith. Tommy said, I don't think Faith want to be mean to Lucy and hurt her feelings. Faith should stay away from Lucy. Is too young to be her friend. This little girl is trouble. So, I mean, Faith is too old to be with Lucy. I mean, she's 14. And you're talking about somebody, because the girl is actually 21. So I remember when
they made her 21 now?
Yeah, because I remember when she came home and her mom, Sharon, said, this is where you've officially become an adult. And she's been in college for, was it 2 years now? 3 years now? So, yeah, you're talking about a 21-year-old and a 14-year-old.
I'm thinking that she was like 19 or 20.
They made sure that she referenced the fact that she's officially an adult now. When Sharon made that statement in that episode about whatever she came back. So it had to be right at the beginning of maybe July. So with her being 21, that would make her maybe like a sophomore and junior in college.
Okay.
And then you talking about somebody that's a freshman, 14? Yeah, that's a freshman in high school.
And kids in high school are going to get curious about alcohol and parties and the college experience. So Lucy is,
And she
she,
need to
not to say
talk
she
to
had the
her
right mindset.
parents. Go talk to your parents about that. Not a. Mm, I mean,
But
mm-hmm.
yeah, I know. But I mean, she's going to be a girl who's going to be curious about those things. And I didn't realize she was going to be like, they're aging her up to 21. I think that they're trying to find some way to mimic what happened with Cassie using Daniel's daughter and Sharon's daughter again. Because they keep bringing up the fact that, the last time that Lucy and Faith had a discussion, they were talking about the parties, the alcohol. So I feel something like that is going to be involved. And she's also trying to do everything she can to try to fit in. Like, it's very similar to what happened with Cassie when she was trying to be around Daniel too, because he was much older than she was. Mm-hmm. And we knew what happened with that. So I think that they're trying to mimic that storyline. Otherwise, why would they wrap up everybody back into that same thing that happened? And I found it really weird that they use that storyline for Nick's anniversary too, but now it's kind of making a little bit sense to me.
I just think it's dumb. I mean, if I put her back in that same, or the whole storyline with Johnny, do that. If you want to have a little teenage summer love, there you go. This whole thing with putting Sharon back into a tailspin. We just came off of 3 to 4 other mental health storylines. Now we got this. I mean, we had DID. We talked about this on the other podcast nights, where we had Nikki's alcoholism, DID, OCD, and I get it. Okay, bring awareness, things like that. But now we're going to go down this road and possibly have a situation where something happens to Faith. I'm not interested, writers. I'm not. I'm more interested in this craziness with Summer, because she's getting on my nerves. But the whole writing around the context of just throwing Lucy into this whole fangirl situation of Faith. I mean, the girl is dealing with a breakup. She's hanging out with her friends. She's only home for the summer. Obviously, she got to go back to school next month, would be August. So it's like they could have did something different with this. I'm not interested in that storyline, and I don't want. Sharon is a good actress, Sharon Case. Give her something else.
She is playing her role. They give this woman great storylines, and she just plays the hell out of it. The way that I don't know how she can tap into someone who's going through medication issues. I don't know how to describe that, but the fact that her medication is kind of making her a little, off, but she plays into it so incredibly well. I thought she's an incredible actress. They could have really did something different with her, especially since she has this new company, and she moved on from Chance, and she's got, a lot of things ahead of her. I don't know why they went back with the Cassie storyline.
Yeah, exactly.
Major voice. Did you see that comment?
Which one?
He was talking about Summer, saying Summer has always been together. I left her in the bed with Billy when she did that to Phyllis.
Oh Lord, who wrote that?
Major voice. Thank you so much. That caught my eye. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Ooh, they're about to really come in on Summer.
Yeah, I hate that they're taking Sharon Case and even bringing back the kids for something like this. We don't need this. I mean,
yeah,
we don't. Sharon has had her storylines of bringing her out of that. You know what I'm saying? That's why she decided to become a therapist or take some psychology classes and help other people. And then you take her right back down this with the whole thing of, an adjustment on her medication.
That's what makes me feel that something's going to happen to either Faith or Lucy. Somewhere along the lines, they're mirroring that same storyline. I feel like someone's going to be behind the wheel of a car, and then we won't see either one of those characters anymore, or either Faith or Lucy. I know the actress who plays Lucy, she wants to pursue a music career, but it's I don't know. This is just very odd how they want to go back to that. And you guys made a very valid point too. Well, T made a good point, and the people in the comments section said, "Why can't she hang out with Johnny?"
Right.
Or Katie.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, there's a lot of girls who might hang out with kids their age, or some kids who might want to look. She obviously wants to look at someone who's older. I mean, I'd say it's right. I'd say it's okay, but in this case, she wants to do grown-up things that are out of her age range.
Yeah, well, I mean, they could have found something else to do with these characters. She already had a storyline for the summer, and if she was going to go back to school or do something else, then okay, summer love over. Johnny and them got to go back to boarding school. Hey, send her to the same boarding school, and they go off to, and she can go do her music. But to do this whole thing where it's possibly a duplicate of the Cassie storyline, to see something happen to one of these girls, I'm not into. Can we move on? Bring back the love scenes. Bring back the corporate takeovers. We got one right now. I'm interested in that. But go ahead.
You're not happy. You're not happy. You can get the carryover with Audra and Nate on Monday.
Yeah, well, they left us hanging with that. I mean, we got half of a bedroom scene, and then when we came back, Audra was talking to Sally. So,
well, she had a nice breakfast with Nate. He was talking about like how they watched the sunrise together, and then she did not give a damn. She's like, "Look, this is just sex, nothing more, nothing less."
They could have gave it to us though. We're the viewers. You know what I'm saying?
Audra said it wasn't worth it.
I mean, and I get that, but the writers, I mean, if you want us to get that soapy rom, because that's what soaps used to be about. I remember being a kid way back in the day, and my mom was like, "Y'all don't need to be watched that day, y'all, that stuff is too old for y'all." And because there was a lot of love scenes on it, my mom was very strict, so okay. But there was a lot of love scenes on there because we had the soapy, steamy in the bathtub, the bedroom scenes. And I understand 2020 came, it hit, it changed a lot of things on television. But if we can do Thomas and Hope in 2023, I'm sorry, that now goes out the door.
Yeah, there's no excuse.
There's no excuse.
I mean, even Adam and Chelsea had a full love scene up against the wall, on the bed, tearing each other's clothes off. We got that. I would have been okay with seeing Nate and Audra if it was hot, but the writer said, look, it wasn't worth it, so okay. But you're right. There's no love scenes. Like B&B had a ton of them over the years. So did Y&R. Like I can think about so many that Phyllis had, that Nick had, Sharon had. And it's just unfortunate that we probably get maybe one love scene a month.
A month? Is it a month or is it a quarter?
Yeah, probably a quarter.
Once every quarter.
It's not enough, writers, please, producers, whoever, please listen. We want love scenes.
Tell me about it.
We have all these good-looking men, and we would love to see them with their shirts off.
Yeah, Nate looked pretty darn good with his shirt off. I mean, I was watching, and I'm like, can we get more of that? And then we got the morning after, fully clothed, so...
Yay.
Exactly. All right.
Elevator music, too.
What'd you say?
And nothing but elevator music, too. Nothing sexy anymore.
Yeah, Victoria and Nate. Yeah, Cheryl. You know, Steffi's scenes was bomb, but she ain't slept with her husband on screen in 2 years. So
And she don't want to.
listen, after all that simping he did today, he better get some.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to it.
All right, let's move on. The next thing we want to talk about is Victor. Now, Victor actually told Adam what the game plan was. Out of anybody, Audra don't know 100%. Kyle don't know 100%, but Adam, he knows all. Now, can Adam be trusted with that information? Because he really don't want to do this.
He really does, and I was surprised that he made that stipulation to say, like, look, I'm not going to write trash about Jabot or Jack. And Victor was like, oh, okay, fine, you accept the job? Okay, great. There's something just really odd about this. I don't want to say I'm disappointed at Adam for taking the job. I'm glad he's sticking it to Nikki, but with everything that's going on with Connor, I'm surprised that he would even remotely consider going to new media, regardless if his dad beats him with an ugly stick with it, just to make sure he's in that position. I don't understand why he would even want to go with Victor's agenda, knowing how destructive it's going to be.
Yeah, and I mean, what is he? And then the thing is, he don't even know whether he'll have a job after this. You know what I'm saying? Because he moved him away from Newman to go work over at Newman Media. His brother and sister is making sure of, and his stepmama is making sure of him not getting too comfortable, because this is only temporary until she finished her treatment, and she going right back. I would think before I sign the dotted line, what am I going to do next? Because I had a job, and Victoria ain't finna leave. Victoria ain't temporary. So with Vicky going back over there with Nicholas, where does that leave Adam if Nikki gets her job back once she's done with her treatment?
Well, it's not even being done with the treatment. It's until Victor gets, one over on Jack. So that could be like a year or so. It could be for however long that Victor wants Adam in that seat, because he makes it very clear, like, look, this is my job, this is my company, I do what I want.
Right, but I'm saying in the context of what they were saying in that meeting. Mm-hmm. He told him, because as far as Adam know, Victor told him, well, we'll see about that when that happens, when Nikki comes back. Nikki, for those that have seen Thursday's episode, Nikki is making sure that Adam don't get too comfortable, and Adam is pretty much like, well, if you help me, I help you. So I don't know this whole thing. I just think that Victor thinks he got all his little chess pieces in control, when technically he don't. It's unraveling already.
Right.
Because
I was going to say, Tommy Smith, I don't feel bad for Jack. You're correct. He ruined a lot of things for himself and for his family, for Nikki. He gets exactly what's coming to him from Victor. I just think it's just unfortunate that Adam's going to be blamed for something else down the road, and Victor's hands are going to be clean for that.
The cracks are forming, number one, because Adam told Sally that Victor was behind Glissade. Mm-hmm. Sally also told Audra what Adam told her. Audra told Sally what she knows in regards to the whole thing with Victor. Because remember, Sally told Audra that, this whole thing is coming for Jack Abbott. And Audra told her that Victor is behind being the investor. So out of this
Mm-hmm.
whole situation, besides Adam, Sally knows everything now.
Yep.
Now wait a minute. Does Adam doesn't know that Victor is the investor behind Glissade? Or did he? Did he tell him that too?
I think he put the pieces together, same way
Okay.
Jack did.
Okay. So technically, I don't even know why does Sally feel comfortable. These two feel comfortable sharing information with each other.
I know. Audra's no real friend.
Yeah, because did you see what Audra told her? Like, you know what? Hey, we can talk even further anytime you need. Let me, because she's doing some information gathering, and Sally is foolish enough to think that this girl is her friend to give her all the deets.
I would not trust a damn thing that comes out of her mouth. No telling what flies out of it.
Here's the
But
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, I thought you was finished.
Oh, so go ahead.
And then the other part of this that's forming a crack in this whole plan is Summer, because Summer don't want Kyle anywhere near Audra. So much so that Phyllis and her are trying to figure out a way to get rid of Audra without them knowing that Victor is behind all of this.
And I want to root for Summer. I don't like the way they've been writing her, and I've been seeing a lot of comments about how they don't like the way they're writing Summer.
Mm-hmm.
I can see if Audra was a real threat, but she don't even want to be around Harrison. She don't even care to be friends with Kyle. She just wants to just get one over on Tucker. That's all she really is parading around about, even though it's Victor's company.
Mm-hmm.
But Audra was a threat last year when Kyle was screwing her.
Right.
And he was still married. They're divorced now. So how is Audra a threat unless they're going to write something later down the line? Which I was actually thinking earlier, with Sally sharing that information and that she knows Victor doesn't really trust her 100%, she could easily get that information to Jack too.
Yeah. Yep.
To try to solidify a position over maybe at Jabot or something in good faith. So Victor has his chess pieces, whereas Audra's playing checkers, but she's still moving her pieces together. So I was mad at Sally, of course, for even sharing information, but at least Audra said, hey, he's a private investor. But she will utilize that information to save herself. I guarantee that.
So I'm wondering at some point, is Sally going to go back? Wait a minute. Okay, so Adam does know about that part. But she didn't know that. Okay, so Audra didn't know that this whole thing was going after Jack, right? Because they were sharing information. And I'm trying to remember all of the context of the conversation between Audra and Sally. But it was them telling each other the business, pretty much.
I think Audra and Kyle had talked about it because Kyle already assumed what was going on. I think Sally just reconfirmed that suspicion for Audra. So now she knows what's in play, and I think it gives her more of an opportunity on how she's going to move going forward.
Belinda, first of all, Aisha, who is that? Aisha asked the question. Yes. The answer to that question, Aisha Jackson, is yes. And Belinda said Victor's endgame is to put Adam in control of Glissade. And I thought about that.
Really?
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, wow. Do you think that would really stick it to Jack? Because Jack has been more of a father figure for Adam. I think that's why it hurt so badly for him. So to put Adam in that position,
I don't think it would stick it to Jack. Well, okay, I think Victor will assume that by that time the damage would have been done by Kyle. Once the damage is complete, Kyle is no longer needed. So now I got a thriving cosmetics company, and my son is a Harvard Business graduate. You know what, Audra, Kyle, thank you, but your services are no longer needed. The job well done. I'm giving this over to my son.
I'd be okay with that.
I'd be okay with that too.
And let Nikki have
Mhm.
Newman media like she's been
Mhm.
crying about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why she feels that Adam isn't qualified for that position. I'll never understand that.
Because
But
she got a
is.
hatred, girl. She got a hatred to that man, and not that man, and Victoria too. And I gotta give credit for Nick the other day when they were at Society when Victoria started about Adam, and he was like, "Look, he's still going through some stuff with his son," and then she kind of calmed down. But
it was more than that. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
She got secondhand information from Billy about her own nephew instead of going to her brother and see what was going on with Connor.
Mm-hmm.
But she said, "Oh, my heart goes out to them." Well, why don't you ask how your brother's doing? Ask how your nephew's doing. You had to get the information from Billy, and that's not even his child. Come on now.
Right.
You that petty?
Exactly. But that could be the end game. Use Kyle to decimate Jabot. Once it's reached that, the point where the bottom is fall out, hey, you know what, Nikki, take your job back, and Adam, I'm letting you run Glissade.
Yep. And then Kyle would have to crawl back to his mommy and his daddy.
And Audra
is back on the street corner like she's used to.
Well, she's the one that was an idiot. She could have had that company free and clear like we've always been saying from Tucker. Tucker was willing to sign on the dotted line, say, here, it's yours. No, she wanted to win and beat him, which technically she didn't, because she would be the one out of everything. If Victor technically owned, he's calling the shots, and she's sitting up there at the table with Sally talking about, don't underestimate me because I always come on top. No, you don't. You might be on top in the bed, but you don't come on top in business, ma'am. Sorry.
Especially when you don't have the wallet to really throw your weight around. These men do. And the thing is, what I'm hoping for is when she falls flat on her face, we get Tucker coming back, and he just looks at her and just walks by or something like that. I want for Tucker to see this woman fall, because the fact that she felt that she had a whole victory lap, no. Victor is going to take laps around you and then leave you on the corner.
I mean, look at Nate tried to tell her, because he almost guessed it, even though she's lying, that Victor is behind this. You don't have the final say on anything. Yep.
Yeah.
But that's what she did.
LaShanta?
What'd she say?
LaShanta? She said, do you all remember Vicky said Adam doesn't deserve Newman name, but Claire does. Oh, really? Yep. That right there, just nothing but hatred for her own brother. I'm like, what did he do to you recently? What?
Jealous.
What?
See,
then she needs to get her own Harvard business degree or something.
Well, she's jealous of the attention. She knows that that Adam is more like her father than anybody. She didn't have any competition when it came to Nicholas. Nicholas was the boy that was in and out. The man, I should say, that was in and out. Yeah, I work today, tomorrow. Oh, no. So he doesn't have that ambition that Victoria and Adam has. And Adam has it, and just as ruthless as his dad if he wanted to be. And Victoria knows that, and she don't want to share the spotlight with her brother that's named after her father.
She wishes she was named Victor Adam Newman.
Well,
but no.
Her name is Victoria, so it's close.
Not close enough. That's why she's mad. And the thing is, Nick and Billy have the same resume.
I know, right?
So I wouldn't feel worried working next to Nick either. But you would think she would want to put her head together with someone who has a Harvard business degree, who has the experience, who has, the drive, the passion like she does, and they can really take that company forward. But she just has to just be petty. And her mom is sourpuss, just this petty, forever pouting, mad about something. And when it comes to Adam, she just drives me crazy. Tomorrow's episode, this
It's
I'm
insane.
over
And
her.
Summer is the other one because we need to talk about her and then jump in the bowl. Oh my God, Summer. Oh jeez, I don't understand. Do you want your husband back? If you want your husband back, just say that.
It's hard for me to tell what she wants anymore. Like the time for her, if she was concerned about her son's safety and his well-being, when all this stuff was happening with Claire in the beginning, and she was around the kidnapping and everything, I can see her pursuing a custody case then. I think we all thought she was going to do. Well, I at least thought she was going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But how is Audra a threat? Audra was a threat last year when she was screwing your husband at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And she don't even want that thing anymore.
I mean, the girl just got out the bed with Nate. And, I mean, Phyllis and Summer don't have a clue. They actually think that Kyle is is going to Paris to sleep with this woman. I'm like, where are y'all getting that from? And, like, you saw tomorrow's episode, I'm assuming, correct?
Half of it.
Well, that conversation, did you see the conversation that Nick had with Phyllis and Summer?
Yeah.
I mean, Nick is trying to be the voice of reason. I'm just sick of these simpy guys because Phyllis jumped at him while Summer was sitting there and he backed down. And I'm like, can somebody tell this girl the truth? You letting her act irrational because you don't want to make her mad. Somebody need to tell that girl the truth to go sit down somewhere. Go get some thoughts. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go get your thoughts together and figure out why you so mad. She claimed to get over Claire because she's happy about how Harrison is doing with Claire. Okay. But Audra is working with him because he's co-CEO of Glissade. You mad. And he's getting ready to go on a business trip. This ain't a trip to go just do whatever. They're on a business trip.
But even if they were screwing, he's not married to her.
Exactly.
So she cannot be mad. This is what I'm thinking. She's mad that the fact that this man's going to be moving, so she cannot have any access over to the Abbott house whenever she wants to use Harrison as an excuse to see what's, and to see what's going on. She has to check with this man before she can visit. And that's the other thing that upset me too. It took Audra and Claire for her to want to get out the hotel.
Right.
Not the fact that she's a mother to that child. And yes, I don't like the fact that it's thrown in her face that she's not the biological mother. That boy views her as her mother. That's just a done deal. But even with that said, you're a mom. Why are you having this boy come and visit you, spend time with you in a hotel for 2 years or however long she's been in there?
Right.
It shouldn't take these other women that you're jealous around for you to want to get a place for your son and establish, some stability. And on top of that, both Kyle and Summer have these high-powered jobs. Y'all are not spending time with this boy like that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So they just need a mediator. I'm going to keep stressing that. It shouldn't go to fighting for custody or anything like that. But that is his mom. That's who he thinks is his mommy. That's who he loves. I don't think it would end well for Kyle to completely cut her out of his life, and I don't think it'd be good for Summer to put herself in a position to be cut out of Harrison's life. So it's not a win-win for either person. And he's not even thinking about Tara, not even mentioning Tara. Summer is his mom, and she's his emotional support, his financial support, all of that. So I'm glad that they're both finally able to grow up and get a place of their own, finally, whether it's 2 separate households. Either which way, that boy is good. He's rich. Either which way he has Abbott money and Newman money. He's fine. It's just a matter of those two growing up a bit. But I don't agree with Kyle throwing it in her face that she's not the biological mother to be petty. And her going after full custody because she doesn't like Audra or Claire is not, enough to try to, ruffle Kyle's feathers like that and causing issues with Harrison in the process.
Okay, so back to that conversation that they had at the Abbott house. When she said, I'm going to have to go and have them look at the custody arrangement or how was the custody arrangement, or was it one of those terms? He said, you are not the biological mother. You don't want to do that. I don't think he was throwing it in her face like that. I think he was telling her, look, it's not going to be as easy as you think to go into court to make the kind of claims and do whatever you need to do because you're not the biological mom. You don't have any legal standing. Now, there is visitation and those types of things because, of course, Kyle knows that, Summer is not the biological mom. This whole storyline started with Tara coming to town, dropping a kid over at the Abbott estate, saying that because I cheated on my husband, Ashlyn Locke, guess what? You got a kid, Kyle. And then Summer was already married to him. Harrison know that that's not his biological mom. I think he was telling her that as let me give you the heads up. You coming in there acting like you can throw your weight around by trying to get things adjusted custody-wise, but you're not the biological mom. I don't think he was saying, well, you're not his mother, so you can't do anything here. I don't think it was that way. I think it was more of a warning, like, hey, if you're going to do this, it's not going to be as easy as you think because of where you stand in this whole situation.
And I can understand that. And I wish they would kind of spell out what type of arrangement that she has. But if she has lawyers involved and they contacted him, they feel that she has some sort of a case. So
well, I'm assuming human money.
That's also a possibility too. But I don't think and that's why I wish Heather was involved. Why did Summer have to come down on Daniel like that? His wife is a whole lawyer, and she's been in a similar situation where she's not Lucy's biological mom. So she can kind of relate to what Summer's going through, or at least make sure that there's something concrete for Summer so she wouldn't lose her rights or her position in Harrison's life. That would have been the perfect person. Writers, what is wrong with you?
The other thing is that Summer is wanting primary custody. But you gotta prove why. You can't go into court saying he's making bad decisions. Okay, what bad decisions is he making, ma'am? Well, I don't like the fact that he's dealing with Audra Charles and they're working in business together. And I don't like the fact that he is arguing with his parents. They're going to laugh her out of the courthouse. And this is why I don't like where Phyllis is coming in there saying whatever to make her feel good and to gas her up. Whereas her dad is like, look, I don't think you want to do this. Y'all need to sit down and talk this thing out. But Summer is just so emotionally erratic right now because of the fact of whatever this is with her, whether she wants to get back with Kyle, whether she just don't trust Audra. There is no proof that these two are even sleeping together at all. And you're talking about getting rid of her, Audra. You're going to have to go through Victor Newman to do that, unbeknownst to them.
Yeah. And the thing is, if Kyle was sleeping with Audra, he can do that. He can sleep with multiple different women. He can sleep with Claire. He's able to do that. Same way she should be worried about Chance. Mm-hmm. But there's different characters on the show who are raising kids that's not biologically theirs. Victoria, who else? Nick, he's taking care of Adam's child. And as mentioned, Heather taking care of Lucy. So it's not an uncommon thing, but it's just there's no reasoning. And also Kyle would have to show that she's ill fit too. So they're not going to win either which way. That's why they need a mediator and to split the time up. and go from there. She gets her place, he gets his place, and he splits time in between. So be it. A lot of parents do that. But how is she going to ask for full sole custody with the type of job that she has?
Well, the other thing is that he's the defendant in the case. So it's not like he's putting in a case against her to take away the child. This is all her. And he even said that you started this by trying to get a case started. She did all of this. She was like, I don't know how we got here. You, ma'am. That's how we got here. That's how we got here. He was not trying to stop Summer from seeing Harrison at the house. He didn't even say that when he moves, she can't see her son. She's the one that's talking about your decisions are making me fearful for my son and I need to take primary custody. No, that ain't how that works, Summer. I'm sorry, I can't. And her mom is not doing her any justice by coddling her feelings when her father is trying to give logic and he gives in to Phyllis too.
Yeah, it's. I hope they get rid of this storyline quick and fast and hurry. I mean, it's. If they're worried about Harrison's well-being, this is not going to be good for his well-being at all.
Nope. And Michael Miller said when they interviewed him at the Emmys last month, the beginning of June, that it's going to get real ugly. So this is where we're headed. Yep.
I guess.
So I just think I don't like how it's written. I could see if he was drunk driving or did something reckless, then it gives her a leg to stand on. Like if he did something as stupid as Jack did with those pills, then I could see she'd be like, oh no, you're making bad decisions. You almost unalived yourselves trying to overdose on this, that, and the third to prove a point to, I don't know, I just make up Audra or Claire. Then maybe she got a leg to stand on because you tried to take yourself out. But you have nothing. He's not even stopping you from seeing your kid.
Maybe she might turn around the same way she turned around when it came to Claire, because she was adamant about not having Claire around. So she turned around. So maybe she might change about this custody situation. I don't know. I hope that it's just over, and maybe she needs to admit that she wants to be a part of Kyle's life. That's if that's the direction the writers are going with those two. And maybe she just coming to grips with that. The poor Chance. Go ahead and put him with Lily, please.
Jenna said all Kyle has done is change jobs and want to move into his own place. Yeah, that was the other thing that Summer was talking about in tomorrow's episode. How can he remove Harrison from the only place he knows?
You were out the country.
Yeah, he was out the country for a while, ma'am. Did you forget about that? Stop.
Yeah.
Get some help.
And plus he was living with Tara and Ashley. That boy had several homes. He's been going from mansion to mansion. That's more than a lot of people can really say in their life. This boy is great. He's just happy with playing with worms and sing-alongs, patty cake. And I could understand why she's jealous of Claire because she's missing out on that. I do get that. But the whole Audra thing, I'm like, that's a stretch.
That's a stretch. Barely and the fact that you're worried about that they're going to end up in bed together, why does that concern you? Where's Chance? Go find Chance and get up on there. Maybe that's what you need. Go let him knock the cobwebs out. Maybe you'll calm down a little bit.
Oh my goodness, you think there's cobwebs now?
Well, when last time we seen them together was what, about 4 or 5 months ago in the shower?
Maybe not cobwebs. Maybe she just I don't know.
Listen, that girl is in her prime. And so is he. Yeah, I know they got some urges.
Yeah, I mean, I saw some comments about like maybe Summer should just go ahead and start her own family and have her own kids. But But she views that boy as her son. She even went as far as to get some sort of custody arrangement. The boy is calling her mommy. That's her child. So she can still have children of her own, but she views him as her son.
Yeah, well, she need to get it together because her worrying about, well, basically Audra, because she seemed like she's calming down to Claire. But her worrying about Audra, you're going to send this boy and him moving. Because who he works with and the fact that he's moving into a different home, you're going to send this thing to court. And your son in the middle of it. Girl, please. Oh, Lord. All right, we got to go get to Bold. Bold. All right. This was a run-on sentence this week.
Yes, it was. It's Sheila. Sheila did it. Sheila. That was every couple of sentences. Thank God we didn't drink.
Because I mean, girl, like you said, it was to me, yesterday was absolutely boring. I mean, it was one.
It was fuller this whole week.
Yeah. I miss Thomas already.
Right. They really just dropped the ball with the sweeps over on Bold. I'll never understand that. And it's like, how many months are they going to keep dropping the ball on sweeps?
I mean, was he only here just to close up the Thope storyline and say, hey, let's put a nail in it and then I'm out of here? Was there contract issues? Because that conversation was on the table in our last chat with Matt. I don't know what's going on with that whole situation. And it sucks because honestly, y'all gotta move on. So Bree, I would rather for them just say they took Sheila in for questioning on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And they found something else, or maybe some other person not on screen is also unalived by the same thing. Well, it couldn't have been her because she was at the police station. It moves the story on, but from the way the spoilers look, they're going to be stuck on Sheila for the next week. And so I'm like, you got about how many suspicious people? You got Sheila, you got Lee, you got Poppy, throw Bill in there, you got Justin, you got Jack. So why don't we rotate the clues, move the story along, but for the next few days, y'all gonna get stuck on Sheila, and she gonna be that. I'm like, okay, y'all don't know what y'all doing. I'm sorry, y'all. At least Scooby-Doo had multiple, even though the guy with the mask was always the one that was the person. But it was always extra clues that they picked up along the way. They didn't get stuck on one clue for 5 days.
Yeah. And incorporating all these different people. Why was Steffy involved?
She shouldn't even been there.
She should be at work. She a whole co-CEO. And why did she need to step outside of her office to worry about what's going on at Deacon's restaurant if she's so scared, if she's so afraid about Sheila and El Giardino? Like, why? She had no business. She didn't know Hollis. She didn't even know Tom at all. Mm-hmm. But in the beginning of the week, she was calling and checking tabs and asking, Lieutenant Baker, I heard about what happened to Tom. I think it's Sheila. Like, girl. Mm-hmm. And then having the nerve to go to the morgue and see, like, I want to see for myself. And then she's like, yep, it's Sheila. Yep, same chemicals. Yep, it's Sheila. I'm going to go confront her. If you're terrified of somebody, why are you remotely trying to poke the bear? Why are you trying to go and drive in that direction? Why? Melissa, Lee is going to be Lee.
Right. Melissa, I get it because 5 days in Soap World could only be 1 day on, with the characters. The thing is, though, is that you got to keep the attention of your viewers. So even if it's within the same day, they could still drop a clue. They took her to the station in the morning, but while she was at the station, something else now happens that it couldn't be Sheila. So now we got another clue, and now everybody's looking at each other. And so that's how you move it along, even if it's within the same day or 2 days. Because for us, 5 days is a long time. And they only get 18 minutes per episode outside of the commercials. So that's what I'm saying. I mean,
And they're doing like
to be stuck on the same day for a week and a half, it does no benefits for sweeps because we're going to get tired of it. It's like, okay, can we move this along? We know it's not Sheila. It's just too obvious. Who's next to look at? Don't drag this out until the beginning of August. Go ahead, Bree. What were you about to say?
I was going to say, it seems like Bold is doing 1 to 2 storylines a week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they get majority of the cast to focus on this one storyline. Like for 2 days, Brooke and Hope were talking about Hollis, and it was just funny to me how they did all these throwback scenes for Hope about Hollis, scenes that she was never in, and I'm like, you never really talked to this man like that at all.
Mm-mm.
And they're like, oh my God. Like, hell, her mother went on a whole date with him, kissed on him, everything. I would think that she would think some type of way, but she's like, oh, poor Hollis. That's so sad. Poor guy. And then she left it alone, and she stayed at work like a real CEO.
Mm-hmm.
She knew it had nothing to do with her, so she mind her business. She's going to have her opinions because, yes, she's Sheila's victims. And I'm not, let me be very clear, not disregarding Sheila's victims. She's guilty until she's proven innocent. I get that. But even Brooke was like, look, I'm going to stay here at work. Reg stayed at work. Oh, and that's her own daddy's restaurant. Didn't go and investigate. I thought she was going to do that this week. But no, she stayed at work. What was Steffy out there for? What for what? That made no sense to me.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I mean, like you said, Bree, even Finn had a sliver of logic to say, hey, y'all going over there to confront a woman that y'all just called dangerous.
Right.
What? And then you walk up in the house, just Bogart, are y'all really afraid? And then Finn is in tow looking like, yeah, I'm right here. Oh, duh. I'm like, dude, really?
Well, he was never going to stop his mama. Lee's going to do whatever she wants to do. So he knew there was no stopping her. But Steffi, she had no business leaving the office for anything. Her husband could have made a phone call and said, hey, this is what happened, and go from there. Mm-hmm. But no, she had to call Lieutenant Baker. She had to show up at Deacon's house. And Deacon, I don't understand why he learned all these karate moves and don't know how to kick people out. I'm confused. Chuck Norris would not do this.
I mean, yeah, I'm glad because he cut Lee off mid-sentence. I'm like, okay, stand up for your woman. And put all them at the house. Because they told, who was that? Was that Sheila that told them to leave? Or Finn? No, not Finn. Or Deacon. One of the two told them to leave, and they wouldn't budge.
Yeah.
Put them out. And then they go, she thought about the backpack. Oh, there was no backpack. Well, okay, why would she make that up?
At the same time, she looked suspicious, especially, and that's why I wish where are the damn cameras. She should never have told that man to throw away the backpack like that.
Well, like she said that the reason that she did it was because of the fact that she thought it might have had more drugs in it, and she didn't want anything to impact the restaurant. So she told him to get it out of here.
But a dead body would impact the restaurant.
I know, but that's what she had told Baker in today's episode, that, she wanted to go ahead and get that out of there because it could have had more drugs in it. Maybe that, that Tom was doing. So she should, but then Baker was right. Then you call the cops. That's actually a dead person's belongings. Give it to the police instead of
I
throwing it
would
in the
have
trash.
right. I would assume like the bag would have went when something when he had to go to the hospital. But I guess not. I don't know how that process works, but
Well, the thing is that remember Hollis met whoever it was in the dark. So whoever that person he ran into that he knew, they got that backpack from him.
yeah, and was comfortable enough to put something in his drink and go from there. That's why I don't feel it's Lee at all, because Lee didn't know that man and he didn't know her like that. It has to be someone that he felt comfortable enough to want to share something like that, especially his suspicions about what happened. Um, but but once again, I can see Lieutenant Baker being there. Finn, Steffy, or Lee did not need to be there. They
Mm-mm.
could have made a phone call to Lieutenant Baker and then boom. But you got Steffi wanting to be Sonya Blade, wanting to come and kick the door down, and in the next minute she is like, I'm scared of my life. Finn, hold me. I'm so scared. Like, girl, make up your mind.
Right.
What is your issue today?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then when they
Because
couldn't find the backpack, then they was like, she did it, haul it out, and then they had to get Finn to have the final word. Because Baker was like, hey, this is my investigation, and I dictate what I'm going to do. And sure enough, they told you what to do, which is to take Sheila out of there with no evidence.
Yeah, and Lieutenant Baker cracked me up. He was like, I wouldn't be a good detective if I hadn't followed on the leads. Right.
And
Because
Finn,
that,
he is such a turn off.
oh really? so he showed his abs that wouldn't do it for you anymore.
Well, the thing is that he has the logical mind to know that this is all circumstantial, but because his mom and his wife is just all in a bowl of, let's go, yes, we're going to get on our pitchforks and our torches and we're going to put her to the stake, not knowing nothing. Y'all don't have a clue. And he's like, yeah, you know what? I believe in second chances, but I think that you should take her away. And then, of course, Steffi gives him a hug. She better give him more than that.
She hopped right into that man's arm. He was not going to go against Lee and Steffi at the same time about Sheila. He made a decision that day whether he believes it's her or not, but he chose to not get cussed out by either of those women, which is what he did. Steffi's still not going to give him some, but that shows like his loyalty wavers a lot, because I wouldn't put it past this man to go to police station and check up on Sheila.
He's a people pleaser. And the thing is, I don't think he's being honest. He was very performative in front of his wife and his mother. But he's going to get right around Hope and talking about, I don't know if this is true. I don't know. I mean, I know Steffi and my mom think, but we have no evidence. And then Hope, well, I mean, what motive would she have? She doesn't have a motive to take out Hollis and Tom. And then they're going to have a whole separate bonding session.
Yeah, I guarantee that. I would not put it past him. And something tells me Sheila might call Jack to be her lawyer. Kind of deepening that part of the storyline. I'm really feeling it's Jack and Poppy. It's all pointing to him, because even for Poppy to show up just to see what was going on, she really had no business being there. She's a living girlfriend. You didn't even know Sheila like that. She didn't even care what happened with Lee when Sheila ran her off the road.
Did you see Melissa Spencer? She said Steffi and Lee treat Finn like a toddler, they will put him in timeout even if he dares to go against them.
and it's his choice. I think when it came to Lee, he had no choice. That's his mom. Like he knows that that's how she is. But Steffi, that was a choice that he chose to make as far as his wife. And clearly he was still kissing up to her last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Saying like, honey, I will never go against you. I should have never put you in a position.
Girl, even Carter came up in there talking about, yeah, I know Sheila did it too. She got blood on her hands. I'm like, y'all crazy.
But I mean, Sheila did that to herself with her history. Mm-hmm. Look, she guilty until she's proven innocent. Look, her victims are going to believe it's her until it's not her.
Bobby Wright said it could be two different unalivers.
You know what? That's something else I was thinking too. It's hard for me to put faith in the writers and the producers with this particular storyline. Because I knew this was going to be Sheila's redemption tour. I knew it. And then when Finn finds out, then he's going to try to get his wife on the bandwagon. And then that's what's going to break up Steffi and Finn's marriage. I don't think it's going to be Hope, which we still haven't seen that part yet either this week. But this is Sheila's redemption tour. But I wouldn't put it past the writers to have someone from Sheila's past be one of the unalivers, or it be both Poppy and Jack. Because once again, Hollis was comfortable with somebody to share that information and to possibly have a drink with that person. Mm-hmm. Enough for them to put some chemicals in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Whoever got a hold to Hollis, he knew who they were.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, he was like, what are you doing here? Well, maybe you can help me with this because I need somebody to talk to. And
he was like, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here because I need somebody to talk to. So whoever this person is, he knew exactly who they were. And I mean, he met Poppy before. And who else? Bill, Luna. Who else they met?
And Deacon. And yeah. Barely.
Whom?
Barely. Even Hope was barely at the restaurant too. But not enough for him to feel comfortable to talk with. He wanted to sit and talk with Deacon, and he didn't have a chance to do that. So whoever, it could have been someone that we haven't seen on screen, maybe, I don't know, but it's someone that he feels very comfortable with to share that information.
So there's this whole thing about who's worse, and I think I posted a video on my TikTok because you had Kimberly Brown and Eric Braden going back and forth with each other talking about who's worse between the two of them. And they were actually pointing fingers at each other. It was hilarious. But there's a whole thing in the comment section going back and forth about Sheila. So, here's the thing. There's no evidence. There's no motive for Sheila to do this particular thing. And that's what Hope is asking. What motive would Sheila have to do this? Tom brought her out of the dungeon. Based on what we know, whether this was fake, we don't know. But based on what we know, Tom was the one that helped reunite them. As for Hollis, she worked side by side with that boy for a long time, and she knows that Hollis was Deacon's best friend. He was the one that helped him get the restaurant off the ground as his business. Where's the motive in this? And I guess according to the Forresters and Lee and whoever else, they just see her, well, she'll be just unalive for no reason. She don't need a motive. And I think that's where they're coming from. Whereas, people like Hope is like, well, why would she do it? And Ridge and them is like, why wouldn't she do it?
And I feel like they're both Right, because back in the day, it didn't really take much for Sheila. If you looked at her sideways, you're going to be her next victim. Or if you didn't agree with her, you're her victim. I mean, it's just just how she kind of positioned herself, or let me say this, how the writers positioned her just over the years, because all her victims are saying that she did it. I mean, you can't really expect much of anything else. I just don't want this to carry into next week where it's blame Sheila instead of like deepening the story and like we see other clues about who this could be. I would like if yeah, versus blame Sheila for everything. Not to say that she deserves a pass. I understand they want her to, go away for her crimes, but at the same time, move the story along so we can see what happened with Tom and Hollis, and if there's going to be another victim, which I honestly think there's going to be.
I mean, and it probably would be somebody unrelated, because you can't get rid of all of the characters. I don't know unless Justin or somebody is dispensable just for him to go to the gates. That's just wishful thinking.
Yes.
But I mean, who else would you get rid of? Jack? Or I mean, the only dispensable people that's left if they wanted to take out another character is Justin and Jack.
And Poppy.
Yeah, I think she's gonna be around for a little bit longer.
I mean, not too much longer, because eventually Bill and Katie will get together. Right now, she's just a live-in girlfriend, and she's trying very hard to protect her position where she's at.
Well, I'm talking about, because we was talking about clues within this week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Poppy going anywhere in this week. You know what I'm saying? But if they got rid of like Justin or Jack, I mean, that's possible. But y'all got to move this story along. We cannot sit on, let's point the finger at Sheila for a whole week and a half. Drop some other clues. Some other mysterious happenings that now have you even more puzzled or looking at other people, instead of us sitting around beating a dead horse on, well, she was a suspect. Okay, fine. We got that. Cool. We spent 3 days on it. Can we now move it along?
You know what, Ron Julian? I thought about this early this week, and I think I wouldn't put it past Mike Guthrie to do this, especially since he was in love with Sheila for a long time and she'd have moved on, got married. And that's why I feel if there's another victim, I think it could be Deacon. I wouldn't put it past this band to do it. But once again, they need to move the storyline along.
Yeah, you got to move it along. It could be a number of the people that y'all are dropping in this chat section, but you cannot get stuck here. And for the way that it looked like we are going to be stuck here, even moving into the week of July 22nd. And it's like, why? I mean, you got a whole bunch of folks that's looking suspicious. Let's keep it moving. Drop another clue. Let's see if somebody else is acting suspicious. Find the backpack somewhere in somebody else's house. Now, if this is just to set up Sheila, like somebody is just purposely setting up Sheila and it has nothing to do with Poppy, Lee, Jack, anybody, then I could see this being a focal point. But if it's somebody else and y'all got to go through other clues, let's get the ball rolling. That's all.
Yeah. Because this sweeps month is not going well, especially since they sent Thomas away.
Yeah, I don't even get that, because like I said, they were talking about we want to get married right away and we're planning this wedding, and then they're now off in Paris somewhere. I don't know what y'all trying to do. I mean, we had Brooke get a whole CEO job and y'all just left that.
Right. We don't even know how she's working with Steffy, because Steffi's barely at work. She's out trying to fight crimes that have nothing to do with her.
Yep. I don't know. Jasmine said, why would Mike Guthrie unalive Tom and Hollis? If anything, he would unalive Deacon.
There's no telling. I think we're all just throwing stuff out on the wall, see what's going to stick. Some people are saying it's Lee. I don't see it being Lee. Like, just her facial expressions have always remained the same, whether she's happy, sad, she always looks angry, suspicious. It's all the same to me.
Girl, look, Ron Julian says that Finn is the one that needs to be unalive. He does nothing for the show.
Woo! Eric might say otherwise.
Oh my god.
Eric otherwise. But he's just not loyal to anybody. He, like you were saying, he's a people pleaser. Well, I feel Faith is more of a people pleaser. There's no telling what Finn is. He would just go wherever the wind blows. Basically, if he wants to be on Hope's side, he'll be on Hope's side. If he's on Steffi's side, and shit, like he's just not loyal to anybody. He's loyal in that moment.
Girl, yeah, somebody in the chat said that this, and I was so excited about July sweeps because they brought Thomas back.
Yeah.
And so we and I mean, I gotta say, Young ain't bad this month either. I like the whole thing and what's going on over with, Glissade and all that. But the moment that they shipped Thomas out, a lot of people was like, what just happened? What are we doing? And then I read a lot of the comments on social media, and even, I could tell the difference in my analytics. A lot of people are just not feeling this right now. I mean, I think people were excited about the mystery, but if they had intertwined Thomas in this, it would have kept people looking forward to the next episode. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or just keep him along just to make Hope keep crying for no reason or something. Or we could have watched her try to seduce Thomas and got some love scenes.
Girl, they, and even because I know, a lot of fans, and I think some of us in the group chat was hoping that, it ain't over. Thomas is definitely still in love with Hope, and he's going to want to go back with her. That is off the table right now. And even looking into the week of the 22nd, I don't know. We'll see if we get that in there, if they come back from Paris to LA. But we still on this murder mystery next week. So,
yeah. And
when all of the spoilers come out.
And Bobby, right, you're correct. Steffi thinks she's Nancy Drew. She thinks she's Olivia Benson. She thinks she's Sonia Blaze. She just feels that she's just ready to fight crime, even though she is a whole CEO at a whole company that she chooses not to be at.
Wait a minute, girl.
I said this.
Let me tell you, that ties into what you're saying. Because she was the one that was telling Riz she got all this stuff on her plate.
And this is why Ridge does this whole workaround and works around her, goes to Eric to get stuff approved because she ain't never there.
Yep.
I mean, think about it. We haven't really seen her in office as much, except for the scenes where she's with Liam or when she feels that she wants to take charge of something, like getting rid of Hope for the Future. Prior to that, we barely see this woman in that office.
Yeah, and Liam is back too, and that's the other thing. We might see a little bit of him tomorrow, but definitely on Friday we'll see Liam, and that's the other part of this storyline is because he's going to be trying to convince Steffi to leave Finn because of what's going on with Sheila. So I'm like, why y'all adding another branch to that? Can we bring the clues in instead of trying to bring Liam into this, where he's now trying to upset their marriage because of thinking that Sheila then got rid of Hollis and Tom? It's just dumb.
Yeah. Black pick me, yes. Where is the fashion?
Exactly.
I agree. They could have made a whole storyline arc where Hope could have been resuscitating her line, or what happened to them bringing back Brooke's bedroom? They could have got rid of Hope for the Future and her model that line. That's why I was hoping Thomas would stay and they get back into their love story or something like that. But what's going on with the sweeps, Bradley Bell? That's all
Girl,
I got to ask.
you got a point with that. If Hope had been the one to take up the bedroom line and Hope decided to model all of the bedroom stuff and we start to see Thomas got beads of sweat on his forehead if he watching the fashion
Exactly. Like they could put some heat, some spice, like we used to enjoy on bold. I don't understand what the direction they're trying to go in with the show. And like I said, we love the show, but just give us something we can really sink our teeth into.
Yeah, and then we got Will coming on August 1st episode, which I think that's going to throw some situation in with this whole Luna thing. And then of course Cricket and Danny will be over there next month too for whatever reason. So
Right. Because the investigation's going now. So where's Cricket? Like, this is such a mess. I want to be on board, but I don't know. I guess.
Oh yeah, that's true, Melissa. Melissa Spencer said at the end of the month when Brooke and Ridge go to Monte Carlo, we might see some fashion with the Brooke bedroom line. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and close up this whole Sheila thing because I am over it. If y'all gonna keep doing the what they call it, dog pile on Sheila for the next week and a half, okay, fine. Let's go. I'm over it. So anyway, girl, it is 7:53, 8:53 your time. And there will not be a show this weekend on Friday because I will be in Ohio Friday through Monday. So, and I'll be on the road. So, I will put out a message to everybody. I should have brought that up last week. This trip has been in the works since February. I don't know why I didn't say anything sooner. But I am sorry about that. But we will pick up midweek chat next week. And I'm gonna miss it because I don't know what's gonna happen. I know what's gonna happen Thursday for the Young and Restless, but yeah, for Bold and YNR Friday, I probably still will be able to watch, but yeah, I won't be able to do the live chat on Friday or Saturday or Sunday because we'll be in Ohio. So thank you, V Carter. Are you there,
And
Bruce?
make sure you have safe. Yeah, I'm still here. Make sure you have some safe travels while you go there too.
Yeah.
And the weird weather.
Actually, we were supposed to do this trip last year. It was my son's graduation present from college because he always wanted to go to Cedar Point. And we didn't get a chance to go last year because he had to relocate for his new job and all of that stuff. So we put it off to this summer instead of last summer. So he's been waiting for this for a year. So he's excited about it. And so, yeah, it's finally his graduation present from college, from him graduating last year. So he's definitely excited. We got a cabin by the lake that me, his sister, some friends, we're going to all stay down there. We're going to do some barbecue grilling, and then they're going to go to Cedar Point, the amusement park, because he's a roller coaster junkie. So, yeah, so that's where we will be doing. Yeah.
Enjoy. And congratulations.
Nobody said anything about that, Blackpink me.
Oh. Oh, wait. Have an announcement?
I said graduation present for my son. I don't know where you got that from right now. Not at the moment, but
not at the moment.
Yes, thank you, no problem. And I'll put something in the community tab. I'll put something on the other social media. So if you guys are like, hey, where's the show? No show on Friday. I know that I said that last week. And we end up having a show. Well, I mean it this week, so.
And Aisha, thank you for you got yourself caught up. So we'll definitely do Sisters here in a little bit.
Yes. Aisha, and I think, because she was asking, are we gonna We're gonna actually talk. Yeah, we're gonna talk sisters in a minute. We gotta go too. It's about 4 minutes too. All right,
Yep.
so I will see you guys. Have a great weekend. I'm gonna still try to get the recaps in. If I don't get a recap in on Friday, it's because I'm at the park or I'm on the road. So I will talk to you guys later. And until then, see you guys soon. Bye.
Bye, guys.